My household has a bit of an issue, a retro gaming issue. About a month ago, I caught my girlfriend playing Yoshi's Story and Donkey Kong 64. No problems here, I love to see that. Except she was doing it on her PC with a keyboard and a mouse, and that's absolutely unacceptable. So, I got her this, so let's talk about it on your boot sequence. I bought this on AliExpress a couple of weeks ago. It's the Anbernic RG353P. It's a handheld retro gaming console. Now, let's be honest, I didn't just buy this for my girlfriend. Obviously, I'm going to use it too. In fact, I've been using it for the last couple of weeks and I love it. My goal was to find something that would work out of the box with no issues and could run 99% of the games that I wanted to play. Spoilers, it's good. So let's start the review, shall we? In the box, which by the way, mine got a little bit wet in the corner. Stop! Thank you very much, DHL, for keeping my console hydrated. But inside of it, you'll find the console itself, a USB-C cable, a screen protector, and the manual. As you can see from the design, this thing reminds me a lot of my 8BitDo SN30 Pro controller. It's got the gray body, the two-tone purple buttons, and every joystick, D-pad, and triggers you'd need for any console games. Build quality-wise, this thing is rock solid. The D-pad feels great and the face buttons are responsive. The joysticks are great and thank God they went with a proper trigger configuration. I hate it when the L and R buttons are side by side. Stacked like this is just perfect. Besides the usual buttons, you also have your F or function button, a volume rocker at the top, and a reset button. In terms of I/O, you have two USB-C ports, one for charging and another for connectivity, and you have a mini HDMI port to connect it to a TV. You also have a headphone jack at the bottom and two micro SD card slots. One is for the Linux OS and the other one is for storage or your games. Oh, and the back has those two little rubber circles that are placed exactly where your fingers are when you're holding the console. It's right in the perfect spot. The screen has a resolution of 640 by 480 and it gets really bright and vibrant. It supports Wi-Fi on the 5 GHz band and Bluetooth 4.2. It's actually a dual boot device. It has two operating systems, a native Android 11 install and a Linux OS that is installed in the SD card slot. If you boot it with the SD card in, the Linux OS has priority. It's pre-installed with RetroArch and the main menu looks just great. Just go to the emulator that you want and find your game. There are other themes installed if you want to change it to those. Now, how do you actually get your games in there? I mean, I tried putting the SD card in my computer and it did not work. It's actually pretty simple, but it took me a couple of minutes to figure it out. All you have to do is connect this thing to your Wi-Fi network. So just press start, go to the network settings and enter the info needed. Once it's connected, all you have to do is go to your computer, open a Windows Explorer window, type in / and then Anbernic or the IP address and boom, you're inside of your device. You can drag and drop your ROMs directly into it wirelessly. Once you've done that, you're ready to game. So let's talk about that. How does it perform in emulation? Well, right out of the box, it's actually really solid. On the Linux side of things, you've got great performance in arcade systems, so that's MAME, PC Engine, Capcom's Play Systems, and all that. And if we move to early consoles, once again, no problem. It handles NES, SNES, Sega Master System, and Mega Drive perfectly. And it even does retro handhelds like Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and Game Gear. In the 3D era, it also performs really well. I tried a bunch of PlayStation and N64 games, and all of them worked really great. I did get 2 or 3 micro stutters playing Donkey Kong 64, but it wasn't distracting at all. The only thing I had a little bit of a challenge with was Dreamcast emulation, where it would occasionally stutter in Crazy Taxi 2, but it was still very playable. It even supports Nintendo DS and PSP emulation, although I wouldn't do that on the Linux side of things. That's because 1, the stock DS emulator on Linux is just not good, and 2, the touchscreen doesn't work here. It only works on the Android side. Once you're there though, great performance. Now, you can install a GameCube emulator on this thing if you want to, but it's really hit or miss in terms of performance for each titles. I tried Super Mario Sunshine and it was running at like 10 FPS, but other games like Crash Nitro Kart actually worked great. I'd say about 10% of GameCube games would work on this. It just wasn't meant for that. The RG353P even supports game streaming with Moonlight, and it works flawlessly. Although your PC needs an NVIDIA GPU for this to work, since it uses NVIDIA's Game Stream feature. So now that I've been using this thing for a couple of weeks, how is the battery life? Well, I got about 5 hours of gaming total on this thing, but the brightness was at 100%, which, by the way, was bright enough for me to play outside. But it also depends, which emulator you're using and your preferred brightness level. At 50%, it's gonna last longer. Which brings us to our AliExpress sponsored product, this Baseus 65-watt GAN charger. My 2 fast chargers from OnePlus died, so this is a perfect fit. It allows for fast charge on all ports, ranging from 30 to 65 watts, and can still deliver that if more than one port is connected. I've only had it for about a week and a half now, but it's definitely my main charger these days for my phone, my Oculus, and my Anbernic console, so this right here. Right now, it's about $29 US on AliExpress, but you can get it for even less money. AliExpress is holding their summer clearance event from the 18th of July to the 22nd inclusively, and you can get up to 70% off on specific products. You can also get $5 off on orders over $50 and $15 off on orders over $150. You can check out the links down below. Heck, I'm sure that this thing is going to be on sale too. Which brings me back to it. How much is it, and is it worth it? Well, I bought mine for $160 US, but since we're in the summer clearance event, you could probably find it for cheaper and use some coupon codes. But yeah, $160. Is it worth it? Well, to me, yeah, it has a solid build and it's super easy to get right into gaming. I bought it for my girlfriend, but I'm the one who sank hours playing Diddy Kong Racing on this thing. Plus, if you're into it, there's space to tinker here. I actually have a SD card with a Gel OS install on it that's just enough Linux, and I'm definitely gonna tweak around with more demanding emulators. There are other retro handhelds which are at about the same price point, but for retro gaming, I prefer this configuration of controls with the D-pad at the top, and I also prefer the roundness. It fits my hands better. So yeah, that was my review of the RG353. Let me know what you guys think. Would you want me to review other handhelds? Do you want some modding content on this thing? Just let me know down below. And don't forget to check out today's sponsor, AliExpress, because their summer clearance event is only happening for a limited amount of time. As usual, you can click right here to see the latest video, right here to subscribe to the channel. Stay frosty, my dudes, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.